You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
Hey.
What up, Bron? Doesn't it feel like it's been a long time?
It does.
No, like I feel like we're starting over.
Yeah.
And
Hi, I'm Bronson.
And I wonder if people know that we even have a podcast. I haven't seen anything come out on our TikTok or Instagram or anything like that.
So I couldn't post anything in Cuba. It was
Right.
And then the last 4 days of my life, I've been dying.
Oh my God.
I would say don't say oh my God, because you went to the hospital.
Okay, mine was worse. And
How do you know?
dying.
What do you mean yours was worse?
Because anything related to mine, that was good.
So Dad and I had the exact same
You weren't
thing.
dying. I'm just saying. No,
when
you
I
weren't
say
dying.
I was dying, obviously I'm being hyperbolic. Obviously I'm joking.
Hyperbolic? What does that mean?
Exaggerating.
Okay. So just say exaggerating.
But you sent me to get good and a good education, so I'm going to use it.
Okay. No,
So Dad goes, oh God, but he literally checked himself into the hospital.
Let's be very clear what happened.
I just stayed in my bed.
Let's be very clear what happened.
Yes.
When I called my doctor in the morning, okay, I explained my symptoms. He said, you might have a blockage. I recommend getting a CAT scan. Otherwise, I would. So that's why I went. So
the fact that you even called doctor, I just powered through it like a man.
Okay, well, let me explain something. It's not about powering through.
I didn't even tell you and Mom.
It's not even about, which I don't know why, but it's not even about powering through. It's that you know your body. You're in your late 50s. If you've had something that's you've never felt before, your stomach.
I'm messing because
I know you are, but
if I didn't know that you had the same symptoms, I would be like, I should go to a hospital.
Bryce, correct, right. So I just want to say, and then we'll get back to your thing. I apologize, but
no, this is my thing.
Okay, at a certain point, and I'm always proactive. So if my body feels a way I've never felt it before after all these years, I'm not fucking around.
And
with
it was one of the worst things I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I never had a hard stomach like that, and then I had such cramps where it was almost like I said, like imagine doing 300 crunch, which I couldn't do, and you'd never. So
I didn't have stomach cramps, which is odd, but
and then I wanted to throw up, but I couldn't throw up.
I threw up multiple times, which I never do.
Bonnie.
We had this weird stomach virus, which is going around, by the way. I was just listening to Chris D'Elia's episode, his latest episode of his podcast, and he had the exact same thing.
Okay, Raju had it a week after me.
Yeah.
A guy who started a cigar bar, this guy Mark, he told me, I go, how? He goes, this is like the end of the week. It was the worst fucking week.
It was the worst, one of the worst.
I know 7 people that had it.
Yeah, it's a pandemic. Screw
100%.
COVID. Can't say it probably this early in the episode, or this episode that'll get flagged as a COVID episode. Screw that pandemic. This is a pandemic. This we need to shut down the world for, because it was one of the worst things that's ever happened to me.
Shut down the world.
For real. Shut down the world for a little sniffle and losing your sense of smell. That we did that. This was like, if people could die from this, like literally.
I don't think people could die from it.
But from the dehydration, 100%.
Well, that's right.
I didn't eat for 3 full days. Didn't put anything in my stomach, but somehow
I know the amount of I know.
I'm not going to be TMI. All I'm going to say is, if you're listening, if you're sitting at home near a sink, go to the sink, turn the faucet on all the way max. That's what my asshole was for the last 3-4 days.
So that's what's concerned. Okay, stop. Let's move on. I agree.
And I'd get up from the bathroom to be like, oh, I'd be in the bathroom for 30 minutes.
You're done.
I'd be like, oh, there's no more that I can
and
get.
Then you get in the
I'd
bed,
stand up.
And then you get in the bed, and 2 seconds later, like, I'm right back.
Yeah,
I know. And you wonder how much
and nothing was going in. That's the crazy thing.
How much can come out?
So that's why I was like, I might die from this, because my insides are just evacuating themselves.
That's why I told you got to have some Gatorade, because they put me in IV when I did that for the day.
My girlfriend was like, do you want me to get, there's IVs, like people that will bring IV bags to you. She was like, do you want me to do this?
Because the amount of liquid, you have to be dehydrated.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, also then one of the things was that I was just so weak. I couldn't get out of bed for like 2 days because I was so weak. Well, that's true. Yep,
I get it.
And it was definitely mostly because of dehydration why I was so weak.
I get it. And first of all, you need to call us and we'll take care of you.
Well, I mean, there's nothing you can do. It just is what it is. It's a stomach thing.
It's nice to have support.
At least with like a flu, you can take medicine, make you feel better. A stomach thing, it's like it just has to run its course.
Let's move on. You gave me a stomach ache, but I'm glad you're doing better.
So hopefully
Bryce
you guys don't get it.
Bryce, and thank God it was the end.
Yeah.
If Bryce had the beginning.
Although I had it, mine started the day before I left from LA. So I had it on the flight. I was sitting on the flight just like the whole time, because my nausea would be fine if I didn't move. But anytime I moved, I was like,
correct. If I went back in bed and I had to lie on my back straight,
yeah, exactly.
My stomach hurts so bad.
So imagine a plane. I was sitting there, I'm like, please don't shake, please don't shake.
The minute I moved on my side, I'm like, I'm out. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
I'm glad
you're doing well.
Yeah, today is the first day where I woke up and I was like, I can be normal again. I haven't had coffee in 4 days, which is the first time in my entire life.
No, I get it. I know.
It was the first time I've had coffee.
3 weeks since I had it.
Yeah, because I was like, this is going to upset my stomach. It's going to.
Well, I'm glad you're doing better.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you.
Yes, you too.
And
I saw you 2 days ago.
I know, but happy and healthy New Year to everybody. By the time this comes out, it'll be on New Year's Day. So,
yeah, we're recording this New Year's Eve day.
Right. So happy New Year to everybody. And
which is funny because I feel like New Year's Eve day is really the holiday. Where New Year's Day, like tomorrow's just a day.
Day to relax.
But today is like everyone's like, oh, it's New Year's. It's New Year's.
Right. So it's been it's like 3 years this pod's been going on.
November will be 3 years.
Yeah, so it's a long
This
time.
last November was 2 years, I think.
So we're going to come out.
Or 3.
2024, we're going to kill it. Podcast's going to kill it. We're all going to do well. And I'm glad, I don't know about you, but I'm glad the holiday's behind us. I'm over it. You know,
It came and went fast.
I'm not a Scrooge, but between bonuses.
You're a little Scrooge.
No.
I'm not a Scrooge, but I fucking hate the holidays. That's Scrooge.
No, I didn't say it. It's for a business owner, it's not unless you're in retail, it's not a great time of the year. It becomes expensive. You got to get bonus, which that's no problem. You know, no one really does a lot of business in December. It's more of a mellow month, and it just becomes I
understand.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to move on. Start 24. Let people get back to work. Get back to reality. The club was packed. Like let everybody go home. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, Florida is packed. But everywhere was packed. When I was in LA, we went to the mall, and I was like, I've never seen this many people in my life, and everyone's spending money. I don't know where everyone gets the money.
Of people are in debt too, Bronny. So
everyone's walking around with bags.
I don't know if I said this on another pod, but I heard on one of the news. They said for Christmas on Black Friday, they spent like $2 billion, of which about 90% of it was on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And they said 60% of the people that are spending money on this year's holiday gifts still have not paid off last year's holiday gifts.
We talked about that.
We did.
Which is, I mean,
scary
crazy
as shit.
But literally, I was in the mall, just completely mobbed, and every single person was purchasing.
No, I know.
I mean, all the shit was on like hard sales too, but still, it's like people are spending money.
Yeah.
Even if something's on sale, you're buying.
It's crazy.
You're spending money.
It? It's crazy. I hate them all on a good fucking day.
Yeah.
So before we go on a couple of things, so I want to tell you, so I took this, it was awesome. So Bryce and I, which Burke is there right now doing, took this tactical training class with guns.
I'm drinking my coffee like a retard just because I don't want to get it on my white sweatshirt.
Beige, but yes. It looks like a comfy sweatshirt. Why don't you
It's extremely
why don't you
comfy.
get a straw?
Yeah, I probably should have.
So we go.
But I'm not a bitch.
Okay, so we go to, it's out like north and west, maybe a half an hour from here, all the way west. So Bryce and I went, and it's this guy, great. Was a commander in the IDF, really cool guy. And he teaches you drawing from a holster, walking. He puts throws firecrackers feet. That's the gun, getting down, taking out the magazine, put a new one in. It was really, really, really cool. Like I found it in all the years I've owned guns, I found that to be so worthwhile from not only from safety, but from a practical standpoint. You know, we go to the range, and I went to the range yesterday with like 6 guys, and it's fine, but it's almost valueless.
Well, you're just standing there, pop, 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 pop.
But and you're aiming like when you're doing your thing, you have your arms out. He said, just put your arms out like this, like in a triangle, and lock them, you know, and get in your stance, whatever. You very rarely have time to go ahead and fucking aim.
Oh, in like a situation. You're saying.
And he says, and it was so cool. Like I can't wait for you to do it. It was so worthwhile that I'm gonna do it. Anybody that lives in South Florida wants to do it, DM Bronson, I'll get you guys information. This is not a paid sponsorship. I'm just saying it was so worthwhile.
You didn't even set a name, so it's not. Yeah,
it was so worthwhile that I highly recommend. I'm going to continue to do more. Oh, and he has another thing, Bronny. He's doing a night thing for us, so I got to get a group of 10 guys. I assume you want to be in it.
Sure.
Okay. He says a lot of robberies happen at night and things. He
Yeah,
said,
no, night makes sense.
We go out to the thing.
I would imagine you would, in any situation you'd find yourself using your gun, it would be at night rather than the day.
Right. But okay, Bryce and I spent the first hour and a half just working. We must have drew from our holster 200 times. I've never done it once in my entire life.
Right. Because at the range, it's just always out. It's on the
you can't
table.
pull from your holster at the range, right? So, and dropping a clip and reloading a clip, like,
which makes sense. You're always going to pull your gun from the holster.
100%.
And to be comfortable being able to do that.
And my holster, that he goes, my good friend, Scott, who's in the guns, told me to get these holsters. So he goes, let me see your holster. I go, my best friend, he goes, well, I wouldn't have him as a friend. Jokingly, but he goes, wrong holster. So he showed me the simplest little way to say it was like $20, comfortable, exactly the way it should be.
We're probably already going to get demonetized now that we're talking about guns, but it's okay. It is what it is.
Oh, okay.
No. It is what it is. Doesn't matter.
We're going to do I need
So
10.
we could have said COVID.
I'm going to get 10 guys. You'll be part of it. And we go to his land and we do nighttime, full pitch black. And we'll do a whole thing with Train does where in your, like a house, he has windows. He has he has shopping
that's cool.
carts. He did a driving thing, practical stuff.
Right.
So I am going to organize
For situations that you would find yourself using your gun. Hopefully not.
Never,
but
right.
So that I've been in this, like I know what to do in this situation.
Well, and I still don't even know, with martial arts, it's years before it becomes like second
course.
nature. But
in the military, they train for years on shooting.
When he pulled this thing out and shot those rounds, I don't think I can get the word hello out before his rounds were out of the clip and already dead.
Yeah.
And he says, if you shoot somebody, you got to shoot him 5 fucking times.
Oh, this is so getting demonetized.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It is what it is. It doesn't matter.
But it was really cool. So I want you to do it. All right, I'll stop talking.
No, it's fine.
Good to have you back.
Yeah.
Glad you're feeling better. And we're going to kick on 24.
Yeah, New Year's, which is crazy. When you were talking about the holidays, I wanted to say that this holiday season, I was talking about it with a waitress at lunch yesterday too, and everyone, you were like, "Oh, this holiday season sucked," but I feel like there wasn't even a holiday season. Like I feel like 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, it was like, "Oh, the holidays." You felt it. This year, I feel like no one felt any.
Do you think it's because you get older?
So I thought partly that.
Mom loves this shit. And by the way, the resort was beautiful. They decorated it. It is pretty seeing the lights.
Yeah, but it felt like it was just just the lights. It didn't feel like there was.
I like those lights all year round.
No, but then they're not special.
That's true.
Then they just blend into everything, and you don't even notice them.
That is true.
You have to have breaks to appreciate it. Distance
all the
makes
New
the heart grow
Yorkers
fonder.
hate this cold weather. We love it.
Yeah, people came down to Miami and were pissed this week.
And I find this weather perfect.
It's nice. Yeah. But I just feel like there's not a holiday spirit.
Yeah, what do you
I feel like
or what is it you think?
I think it's just because I don't know. I think there's other shit going on that people are just people don't care about this stuff anymore. I think people don't care about the holidays anymore. There's not an importance to it like it used to be.
I don't know if it's something where
Do you agree that this holiday season didn't feel as festive as 5 years ago?
Okay, but for me, see, I'm the wrong person.
But I'm asking for you.
For
In
me-
your life,
for
did
me-
it feel less festive?
Okay, for me it did, but I'm not the true. But
No, but I'm asking. Everyone says yes, it felt less festive. So then, therefore, it's less festive as a whole.
But I just have to say, but I'm the wrong person to ask because those things don't do anything as I've gone on.
No, but you're missing what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
You're saying those things don't do anything for me. But if you're saying it's done less for you now than it did 5 years ago, then that's a good. Then if it's never done anything for you, if it's done less, then it's still, that's what I mean. You're actually a good person to ask because you don't care about it as much. But if you as someone who doesn't care feels less about it now, everyone feels less about it. The waitress at lunch yesterday was telling me that, this holiday season's weird because it just doesn't feel, I don't know. She was like, it doesn't feel as festive. I was like, I completely agree with you. And everyone feels that way. Okay. I think partly it's because just society is kind of shit. It's hard to celebrate. It's hard to be oh, let's all come. I feel 20 years ago, it was let's come together as a nation and be happy and joyous and merry. And there was nice things on television and everyone was happy together. I just don't think that's the country we live in anymore.
Could be.
So I think people are just
Could be. Yeah, I think also when you're younger, it means more.
For sure. But
Just saying.
Yeah.
And I also think living
But that's
in
why I'm
Florida,
asking you as like
but I also
3
think,
to 5 years ago.
But I also think Florida, when we were up north and it's cold and you like, it's just a little bit different when you're like Florida. Christmas in Florida is a weird thing.
But you've been in Florida for 30 years now. So that's not, I'm
You
not
need to
saying
ask-
compare
you need
it
to ask
now.
Mom, because she loves the holidays.
I bet she would say this one felt a little weird. This one
So
felt
why
different
just
than last
ask
year.
her quickly? Get her on the phone and just ask her.
Oh,
But I think
and I'd
that's
be-
the person to ask is Mom.
I mean, I think,
And Mom's gonna be positive about all this stuff. Of course, it's the same.
I think it's just a thing that's in the world. And I think it's existed in other things too. I think there's some energy vibe shift that's gone on in society in the last few years.
Let's see.
Hi.
Mom.
Hi.
Hey, Nelly.
Hi.
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 You're on the pod.
So we were just talking about how like,
Hey, wait, Nelly, you want to say Happy New Year to all your Mom and Nell? Want to say Happy New Year to all the listeners?
Happy New Year.
Okay.
did you feel that this holiday season was less festive, less joyous as previous years, or the same, or more?
Well, I feel like it was pretty much the same, except the overshadowing feeling of what's happening in Israel.
Okay, see,
Everybody
but there was
feels-
something overshadowed.
Well, there's like everybody feels a little bit of guilt that there's such bad things going on there, and the hostages are still not home, and there's like a little bit of somber because of that.
Okay, see.
But I don't feel that like I feel in general that the festivities were the same, the parties were the same, the decor is the same. But
like,
I feel
do you
like
think
Jewish
this
people,
Christmas season like hit as hard as it would have like 10 years ago? Am I
you mean
being naive?
unrelated to Israel?
Yeah,
No, not
I'm-
related to Israel. You're just talking about in
yeah,
general.
unrelated to Israel. Like
Unrelated.
I'm saying, am I being naive because I was 10 years ago I was young, so it hit more, or are things just not as
Festive and cheerful and
like I feel like 10 years ago
gay.
everything was like the whole country was like, oh, it's the holidays, everyone was happy, television was all nice and happy, people were all, like everything was whatever. I don't think that's the case anymore, but
Okay, I think it's two things. I think that this is a very bad time in the world. Forget about Israel, but it's a very bad time in the world, and people are unhappy and scared and nervous. So that could be a feeling that you're
Biden.
getting, and I think that's definitely real. Like people are. I don't think in my lifetime I've ever experienced a time when, aside from COVID, forget about COVID, when people were so unsure about what the future held. So I think there's a lot of fear out there, real fear. But also,
By the way,
think that,
Alex here, and we can't get the door, honey. Just so you know.
I'm coming.
No problem.
I also think that you're now a young man, and you don't see things the same way as
I
when
agree
you
with
were
that.
10 and 12. You, unfortunately, as you get older, you get a little jaded, and I think that it's not a good thing. You got to kind of find the child in you.
yeah. Well, I mean, also it's impossible to be like have a childlike wonder to Christmas when you're an adult. That would be stupid.
No, you can make it happen. That's why I love Christmas so much, because there's a little bit of a childlike wonder. I love this time of the year because it is so festive and happy, but you have to.
Right, but you're
make yourself
Joyce.
have
You
that
see the
feeling.
good
But
in
also,
everything.
Mom did agree. Like people were down this season. All right, Mom, we're gonna hang out.
All right, bye, Nelly Belly.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
So, all right,
I think it is
it's a valid-
partly Biden. When the waitress left our table after she was, and another thing she said too, she was like, it just wasn't as like it was harder buying gifts this year because things are expensive and I can't afford.
By the way, things are very expensive.
And people are making less money. So I think that's also a damper. Is like,
Yes.
I feel like in the 90s, people were just buying Christmas gifts left and right. Like I think it's probably harder for a family. Like imagine a dad of like a family of 3 kids buying Christmas gifts now. It's like, that's a huge
But they still do that. Everybody
expense.
goes into fucking debt.
But I think it's harder now. So I think that's also maybe a reason why it's not as like celebratory, because it's like, oh shit, it's Christmas time. This is stressful. But when the waitress left the table, I was like, Biden's America. But I think I was joking, but I think there is truth to that. I think
Yeah, it's a problem.
it doesn't feel as festive because like society is kind of crumbling.
Yeah.
Not to make Christmas political, but I'm making Christmas political.
Well, again, I know it sounds terrible, but I'm sort of glad. I like to move on. I like to get going with the year, get business moving, get people moving, people get lazy in the month of December. They get comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
December is like
I like when things move like the machine.
December's an off month. It's just
but my personality, I have a hard time sitting still. I always need to be moving forward and doing something.
But it's also winter. You things do slow a little in winter naturally. Like your body slows a little. You put on a little more weight. You eat a little heavier foods for the winter.
I'm tired of fucking going out every fucking night. I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah, but you've been saying that for 20 years. You've literally been saying that every episode. Every episode for 3 years. Oh, I'm tired of all the plans.
I want to go to my movie theater and watch Reacher. Hey, so you wanted something really fucked up. This is how people are. So mom's had like issues with her AC unit in her salon. And she's told like, she's getting a new unit. One guy's 14 grand, one's $9,000. So Michelle referred someone that she trusts. So this guy comes yesterday. First of all, he says, no charge for the visit.
Great. Good business.
Wait, not only good business. The guy goes, I'll come back Monday. Here's your problem with the thing. The thing is, your unit's 5 years old. Boom, boom, boom. This happens a lot in salons. I'll come back Monday, $300. Okay, like.
Well, hopefully he pulls through and it fixes.
He's gonna pull through. He took a picture, did the whole thing. Goes, you don't need a new. He goes, I'm telling you, unit's completely fine. It's all the sludge, the hair, whatever. He goes, every 3-4 months I come back and I clean a few. Wow. I don't have a problem. Like,
yeah, that's good business because now you're like, oh, this is my guy.
Good business. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, not only is he fucking great, but no charge for yesterday's visit. And all these other motherfucker places, you need a new unit. Like, makes it annoys
of course.
me.
I mean, every AC, I feel like all AC guys are like, the solution is always, oh yeah, you need a new AC unit.
Dicks.
That was the first thing when I had my AC unit service. The first thing they were like, oh yeah, you need a new unit.
So we're gonna call this guy and we have probably between all the properties.
Oh
in
my
the house,
God, you have dozens.
We have 20.
Yeah,
if not more.
Yeah,
we have 10 between our house and the office building. 10 alone.
Yeah. And then Miami is one. Miami is one.
Right. Or it might be my Miami. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Fuck. I hate people.
I mean, also, that's the problem, too. It's those jobs are annoying because, like a mechanic, those jobs are annoying as a layperson because you don't know. You can't call them out. But
do the fucking right thing.
You'd think, yeah.
Fuck.
Do you have, I mean, before... We can get into like new shit, whatever. But do you have any New Year's resolutions? Which I hate New Year's resolutions because it's like, just do it now while you, like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to work out. It's like, just go work out.
No, but I do that.
No, I'm not saying for you.
Right. I don't really have a New Year's resolution. I would in a perfect world, and I don't know why I'm getting a little sentimental, emotional over it. I'm so weird like that. It's just a bizarre thing. I'd like to spend more I like to have less time with the bullshit social life and more time with the quality intimate and just spend more time with you guys.
But I think this year you probably spent more time with the family than years past.
I love spending time with the family. All I want to do is spend time with the family.
But I feel like it's worked towards that. It's getting better in that regard. I will tell you, 2023 was a good year in a sense where like mom and I traveled a lot, which I really liked. And we spent a lot of quality time, sort of like honeymooners again, which was really nice. And I really, really enjoyed that. And I want to keep that up. I think, knock on wood, not to jinx myself, mom and I have a great balance of, we're very lucky where we get to spend plenty of time together, which is fucking awesome. And we get to spend plenty of time with our kids because they live here, 2 out of 3. But it's really awesome that we get to spend that time. Like, you're not empty nesters.
But we are,
but you have the freedom and ability to
we like if you kids were not around, if you didn't live close by, it'd be more of a hassle. We have to travel and the podcast helps because it forces you guys to come up.
Right, we're here at least once a week.
Yeah, which is fucking golden. So, and we're in Miami once a month at our unit. So we are very blessed in that regard. I would like to. I don't know what I would change because I think right now on my trajectory of what we're doing in my life where I'm at, no, I feel very good.
Yeah.
I don't need to lose weight. I don't need to work out more.
If anything, you need to put on a little weight.
I don't need to work out more. I don't need to, I think I'm a good husband. I think I'm a good dad.
I'm joking.
I see my boys a lot. We love our friends. I wouldn't. I just wish the economy was stronger, which would generate. It would keep the machine going.
It would improve life.
It would, and because even though business is good, I just think that things need to get moving again. It needs to get moving again. The only way it's going to happen, I said, is I'm not going to bore everybody, but if interest rates don't go lower, back down to, let's say 5, it's not going to move.
Yeah. But I mean, 2024 is going to see a change. Either like we have a presidential election in 2024. So something's going to happen. And at this point, if the election was today, I saw this headline on Fox. I was at my girlfriend's parents' house and they watch Fox.
I want to hear
like
about,
you guys.
I want to talk about California in a moment.
Okay. But Fox was like, had this headline, like, if election was today, Trump would be the winner. And at first I was like, that's not news. Like, they're just making that up. What is that? That's not like a factual thing. But then I was thinking about it. And I was like, oh, 100%. If the election was right now, Trump would be the president. There's no doubt about that. Like, no one is voting for Biden. Like, not even Democrats. They would abstain. I think they would abstain.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
Things are bad. No one, even with that, when I was in California, there was such a shift of like being in LA now versus being in LA like 2 years ago. Being in LA 2 years ago, you had to be like a little wary about what you were saying. You had to be on, like, you didn't know how people felt, right? Like, you definitely would like not, you would think about what you would say, like, oh, I'm not going to say retard, you know, like things like that where you would be like, oh, I don't know. You would definitely be like, oh yeah, Trump's the worst. You just thought everyone thought like that. And so you were like walking on eggshells kind of, or not walking on eggshells, but you were like trying to be aware of what people were thinking and saying. That's not the case at all now. There's just not that feeling in the air.
Interesting.
The feeling is more just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like who cares? And a lot of people are much more critical of things than it used to be. And I think that's across the country. I don't think it's like, oh, LA's now like not woke, right. But I think it's definitely less. I think people are just so fed up about it.
It's so bad and crazy.
Look, even I went to a comedy show. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
I went to a comedy show at the Laugh Factory, and there was one person sitting in the front row with the mask on. That was the only person in the, which is insane. And they took it off to eat in between bites, right?
That's the best part of the whole thing.
But every comedian that went on stage was like, what the fuck are you doing? One guy even said, what is this retarded person in the front row with the mask on?
How great is that?
And it's like, we were in LA at a comedy show. Yep. So it's like, and everyone was like, yeah, what the fuck? It's just, things have changed.
They take it off when they eat or walk to the table.
Yeah.
They put it on when they walk.
Literally, this woman was wearing a mask in the front row of a comedy show. You're in an indoor.
I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't. Wouldn't you like to dissect that brain for medicine, see what's going on?
It's just odd. Like, what are you doing? Unless you're sick. But then if you're sick, don't go to the comedy show.
Right. I have to tell you, I don't. It will be interesting because if we have someone like Biden, Michelle Obama, or let's say Newsom, those three in office as president, we have major problems. Like I'm talking about really irreversible problems. And then when you add in all the millions of people coming over the board, that's
the biggest problem.
That's my biggest problem.
That's by far the biggest problem.
That scares me. Yeah. So I'd rather have a Democrat president in office. If someone said to me, okay, here's the thing, get no more border issues or a Democrat in office, which one you taking? I'm taking Democrat in office. Meaning
you mean Democrat in office with no border issues or Republican in office with border issues? Because what you said
right. I was just saying if you had right. I 100%, the most important thing to me right now is you got to stop people coming in.
I agree with you. And I didn't a year ago. I was like, whatever.
Because even the guy who is commanding the IDF, who I was talking about, he says, you don't understand that there are so many Hamas people coming over the border, number one. He says, second of all, we
see them marching the streets.
He says, the difference between the Israelis or the Americans and the Hamas, he goes, that's so funny.
I mean, the fact that we still have a house phone.
That's so funny. I never even knew it rang. But he says, the other part is, he says, they will wait. They will wait 10 years. They will plan something for 10 years and wait where we will get comfortable and lazy.
Yeah, it's a sleeper cell.
Right.
That's what it's called.
Right. So my biggest concern, really a huge concern for me, is the amount of people coming over.
And I just saw a report today or yesterday.
And they can't stop it. No one's stopping it.
No. Well, they don't want to, which is...
They don't want to. Bring
but
in the National Guard.
The report said that it was from like a government... It was from one of the government services. So
like Europe's already done. They're already in. There's no border control. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It said 73% of the people that were crossing the border are men. So it's like that's not all refugees. If it was just all refugees, then women, it should be kids, pretty equal.
Families.
Like it should be like a fair. It should look like what the world distribution is of gender.
Right.
But 73%, it's like that's not a coincidence.
And Bronson, what about the fact that all the fentanyl coming in? What about all the cartel bringing the drugs in? What about the fact it's
there? I mean, there's
it's so bad.
Thousands. What about the? No, I'm talking about like
issues.
What about this and what about this? Because it's all happening.
So bad. And if anything is, we only see the areas where on the news that are where large influx of people coming in. But the real criminals are coming in the areas that aren't like that because
what do you mean?
Because
like they're distracting.
Yeah, because there's not enough manpower in the border control. There's not enough manpower.
Oh, definitely.
So, but the part that's so fucked up is, right, no one talks about it.
Well, they are starting to. I saw on Twitter.
But there's nothing they could do.
Right.
Unless you bring in the Armed Forces National Guard and you stop
unless the government, the federal government gets involved.
Doesn't say, we'll let you and send you back. Meaning the word will get out. If they don't let you come in, if they don't let you come into our country, the word will get out.
Oh, absolutely. It'll trickle down.
It's their problem. Fuck it. It's their problem.
Yeah.
Well, that humanitarian. No, there is no humanitarian. You're coming here.
The humanitarian crisis now is Americans. Our culture, our land is
it is such a concern, Bronson, and the strength of numbers that it is a huge concern. And I'm worried about our safety. And we're going to have terrorist attacks inside our own country by people that are here.
Even on MSNBC, I saw this on Twitter. MSNBC was down doing reports at the border, and
they're liberal,
the most liberal and the most pro Biden administration, and they were like the reporter. I can try to find the clip, but the reporter was like, "I've never seen anything like this. This is the amount of people that are coming over this border are insane." MSNBC is saying that, so that's how you know, like, oh, shit's gotten too bad,
Bronson, and that's just only one part. This has been going on for 5 years.
Yeah.
For years, we're talking over 7 million people have come in. It's so. Imagine people walking right in, coming over from Pompano to Boca like that. You'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But
these are towns. But these adjacent towns living there.
Oh well, yeah. All the border towns are wiped out.
That's what I meant. But I'm saying. So you have these people.
Oh, you're saying if millions of people were just walking through Boca every day,
say yes, and just say I'm staying here.
It would, yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck?
And then, so this is one of the things I want to talk about. This week, Newsom announced that the state of California will be providing free health care to any any undocumented migrant. Which, at first, you're like, what? And then if you really think about that, it's like, what does that mean? And then, first of all, why are they doing that? Right? Because Californians don't all just get free health care.
No, people don't, right?
And then what does that mean, undocumented migrants? So, like, how are you proving that you're an undocumented migrant?
I have nothing.
Right. Or do you have to show you that you have papers, that you're an undocumented migrant? Like that, why is the government providing services to people that aren't their citizens when they don't provide those services?
Because Newsom doesn't give a fuck. Because
it's not that. There's got to be another reason. It's not just because they don't give a fuck. It's because there's something there
that we don't know yet.
Yeah, there has to be.
Do you know what
because that costs so much money?
Do you know the trickle down effect? How big that is? Do you understand that? For example, if you need to go to the hospital now, you will never get service. You can't get service. You'll be in a waiting room for 17 hours. Number one.
Well, that's all. It's in California.
I'm saying in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two.
As a doctor.
Wait. Now? Number two is you go into the cost, so therefore you know who pays that additional cost.
Right. Exactly. The taxes are just going to go up. We do.
Okay. The insurance.
No, not us. It's in California.
I'm talking about the people in California. The people that live in California is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Not we, but I'm saying the people that pay taxes. Yes. The people that pay their insurance premiums. The insurance company is going to bill more. No, it spreads it. Maybe. Just saying.
Why are they doing that?
Maybe they want to take away money from the wealth. I don't know. To create less power. Because we pay for it. When interest rates go up, we all get affected. When interest rates on credit cards go up, when there's default rates, we pay, right? Loans are harder to get. It takes away power from people who had money.
Yeah, I want to see if there's like, if they talk about the actual, let's see, California migrant healthcare.
He's evil, Bronson.
Oh, so it's not just, it says California will welcome the new year by becoming the first state to offer health insurance for all undocumented immigrants. I don't have, like, so you have to, literally, they're just getting health insurance. That's not,
right.
That's insane. California citizens can't just
what
get
about their
health
cell
insurance.
phones?
Maybe they can.
What about
actually,
they get
I don't
cell
know.
phones? No, it's
Well,
a
who's
problem.
doing that?
No, it's crazy. It's fucking.
It says starting January 1st, all undocumented immigrants, regardless of age, will qualify for Medi-Cal, California's version of the federal Medicaid program for people with low incomes. Previously, undocumented immigrants were not qualified to receive comprehensive health insurance, but were allowed to receive medical and pregnancy services in California as long as they met eligibility requirements. The final expansion going into effect will make approximately 700,000 undocumented residents eligible for full coverage.
Now, look at what the fuck, Bronson. Seriously. What is going on? What's in that guy's brain to fucking do? He's going to bankrupt,
this is what he said. He said, in California, we believe everyone deserves access to quality, affordable health care coverage, regardless of income or immigration status. Through this expansion, we're making sure families and communities across California are healthier, stronger, and able to get what they need. California's plan to expand coverage has not been without its detractors. The California Senate Republican caucus criticized the move in analysis of the budget. Medi-Cal, this is what they said. Medi-Cal is already strained by serving 15 million Californians, more than a third of the state's population. Adding 764,000 more individuals will certainly exacerbate current provider access.
It's more than that, too. You know that, right?
Oh, it'll keep going up and up and up.
Let them, you know what? Let more people go to California and let them bankrupt the country, the state. Let them bankrupt it.
Mayor Adams, the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Boston, all these mayors in the last week have like held press conferences where they're like, we can't fucking do this.
They're begging.
You
heard the New York one, right?
Yeah. And that was a month ago.
Yep.
Chicago this week, the mayor of Chicago came out and was like, our city is about to go into failure. He was like, all our city systems or city offices that provide services, city services, he was like, they're all going to fail because we cannot do this. And it's like, and then everyone on Twitter and online was like, oh, this is what you asked for. You said you were, but it's like, sure. But now they've learned their mistake. We need to welcome them and be like, okay, yes, we will help you, because they're admitting failure. They literally admitted failure. They said this didn't work.
Let me ask you a question. If DeSantis, let me ask this question. He's running for presidency, but if he doesn't get the nominee, he remains governor, right?
Yeah, for like another year or two.
Okay. And then when is the governor election?
I don't know. We can find out. I think it's in like 2 years. A year after the president.
Okay. So he has to run for governor again.
No, I don't think he can.
Why
can you
not?
run? He's been governor twice now.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, how many terms can a governor serve?
Can you serve?
Or how many terms can a governor?
Yeah, how many
terms can a governor serve?
In Florida, at least.
Right.
A governor serve Florida. That's the first one that comes up. Let's see. Just tell me. 2 consecutive 4-year terms.
Okay.
So the governor this is the governor of Florida. The governor is elected every 4 years. There's no lifetime limit on the number of times he or she may serve.
So he can run again.
But a governor who has been elected to 2 consecutive terms must be out of office for at least 1 election cycle.
Right.
So you can't run. He can't run again, but he can run after.
Okay. So let's talk about that for a moment.
So
Florida can change.
We're getting someone new.
It can change. It can change bad in a bad way.
It certainly can. But everyone moved here for a reason, Dad. Florida is so Florida.
Okay, but if
it's so concentrated,
but if we get a Republican that has more of a liberal views, it could still be a problem.
Yeah, but I think anyone who's smart, who's going to run for governor in
keep Florida the way it is,
will be like, I'm running on a DeSantis model. Because they'll be like DeSantis. You know how everyone's trying to every Republican is trying to be like Trump-esque? Yeah. I think that's what they'll be. They'll all try to be like DeSantis-esque.
Because Florida is great. Like, I feel like, for example, I can't say I know for certainty, but I feel that in the little bubble we live in Boca, that we're not going to have an influx of migrants coming here.
Florida as a whole.
What?
Florida as a whole.
Right. But I also feel that the police are supported in our little world we live in.
My girlfriend's brother is in town for New Year's, and we were walking around last night. He got in 2 days ago. So we were walking around yesterday, and he was like, wow, there are so many police out, so many cop cars all around. And because like that's not a thing in LA. They're just
they're not there at all.
The police just don't have a presence.
When
and
I was
he
in
like
Venice,
noticed that there was a police presence.
I saw one cop car in Venice.
And that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
I said to him, I was like, yeah, don't you realize how like you just are walking around and you just feel safe and everything's nice and clean and you don't feel threatened? That's because of police presence.
So our alarm went off. So Burke and his friends are here, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I go to Mom, I'm putting the alarm on. No problem. I go upstairs. And of course, 4 seconds later, Mom opens the door because that's just Mom. And the alarm goes off, and I shut off less than 5 seconds. The alarm goes off. But I was like in the bathroom, so the alarm come to call my cell. Yeah. And so then I found at like 5 minutes, like 3-4 minutes later, I walk and I see that they called. So I said, they go, we dispatched somebody. So I go, can you cancel? No. So literally within 3 minutes, 2 cop cars come to the front.
Which is great to know.
Okay. And literally asked my name, whatever, so they could see whatever. They said, you have your license? I go, you're going to make me go upstairs, officer? I'm in my unit. And he said, no. But within 5 minutes, the cops were at my front door from the time the alarm went off to boom.
Yeah, that's great to know.
Okay. Like, fucking, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about, let's say, Boca in that regard, but I do worry about all these other places you want to go to, that there is no, with all the influx of all the illegal people coming in, all the sleeper cells, all the issues, and then you add in the fact of, what were we just talking about? The
police presence?
Yeah, no police. It's a big concern, Bronny.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's why people are in like Florida and Texas and Tennessee.
But then they vote, but they move here, Bronson. Listen.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. I think at least what I've experienced, right? Because I live in
my Democratic friends that are still Democrat are still voting for Biden. They are. They've told me they are, Bronny. They told me.
Yeah, but they're way less excited about it.
But they're voting because it's anti-Trump. Don't you say that? It has nothing. That's what the concern. That's why I'm not.
But I think there are more people that were like pushed over to the Trump side.
I hope so,
and it'll just edge it out.
I hope so.
Same, honestly.
I pray to God.
Yeah,
I seriously. I'm so. If Biden wins or Michelle Obama steps in or whatever it is, I'm not joking when I tell you this. I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, we might have to move. And I love my home. I love where I live. I love my lifestyle. I don't want to move.
No, but Florida might just get even stronger and stronger as its own thing. I mean, the states have been doing that.
I know. And
it is scary that like things are so drastic and uncertain. Like how you were saying, like, we're going to have a new governor worried. And it's like, who knows? Like, that could change everything.
I'm really, really concerned about it.
But from what I've experienced, because I live in Miami and I'm surrounded by a lot of young people who have moved from New York, California, Philadelphia, Chicago to Miami. And
sounds like the beginning of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song.
And they all are like very pro Florida. Like more, it's like the Cubans who got exiled out of Cuba and now live in Miami. And they're like the strongest ones, more vocal than anyone about it. The whatever we want to call them, the people who moved from California, New York, or whatever, they're like the strongest advocates of Florida.
Yes, they are.
Like, they're really pro that. So I think I'm not too worried about
federal
that changing.
government. I'm worried about. I'm worried about the safety of our country because the terrorists that are currently in here to sleeper cells, and I also worried about the economic component because I don't care. We will be affected.
Right.
We will 100% be affected.
Yeah. Of
so
course.
Therefore, our lifestyle will change. Then the safety aspect. Look. I don't know what I'd be happy. Look, at one point, Texas, you said it was its own thing. I remember you said a year ago we should have each state is its own constitution, not part of the federal government. By the way,
or at least like a few different.
By the way, I'd be fucking all over. I'm happy. Let Florida be its own country,
or at least like a few states, a confederacy, if you will.
No, I'm not joking. I would be. I want to do it with the federal government.
Yeah, I've been saying that forever. And you're like, oh, come on, that could never happen.
Because if it's someone like Trump or Obama or whatever, I don't want it.
Not Trump.
I'm not Trump. If it's someone like Biden or Obama, I don't want it. It's so detrimental, Bronson.
Yeah. I also just want Trump back because it made the world more entertaining. It just did. The world isn't as, like, the world's not fun right now. But under Trump, every day you woke up and you're like, oh, what's going to happen today? What's new?
But he was a leader that other countries fucking feared.
Things were doing well economically, so you didn't have to worry about that.
And safety.
And you just woke up and you were like,
and safety.
Oh, I wonder what fun thing's going to happen today. Things were entertaining. Things are not entertaining.
Here's
now
why we're
all.
not going to win.
The holidays would be festive under Trump.
Here's why we're not going to win.
I hate to admit that.
The Democrats, whether they play dirty or not, they're much smarter when it comes to the shit than the Republicans are. I don't know if I
agree. I think they're both equal. I think they're both equally smart, conniving, and corrupt. I think
they're both equally corrupt, but I think that the Democrats are one step ahead of the Republicans when it comes to that.
I don't think so. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be naive.
Talking about California trip.
Oh, I mean, that was we can.
No, I want to hear about it.
We just hung out pretty much. We didn't really do anything.
So her grandmother turned 100.
Yeah, my girlfriend's grandmother.
And is she with it?
Yeah, more so than our grandma. Yeah,
really.
She was similar to my grandma, actually.
Wait, you got to hear this. So we take Bubby out. And I love Bubby, but all she does is complain. You saw it even yesterday. 2 nights ago, right?
But it just is what it is now. I don't know why you're still surprised.
No, it's
like all a dog does is bark. It's like, you can't be surprised about that. It's a dog.
I guess I am. It's
been like 5 years like this.
Oh my God, it's not easy.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Pistachio ice cream, right?
It was, by the way, that was one of the best pistachios. That was one of the best ice creams I've ever had.
14 or 15 of us go for dinner at the club. Really nice dinner, right, Bronny? And no one orders dessert. She's unhappy with her meal, unhappy with everything. She goes, I want dessert. So they tell her, she goes, all right, I'll have the pistachio ice cream. It comes and I go, why is she?
By the way, pistachio ice cream is my favorite flavor.
Okay.
Which is a weird one. But.
So, but I don't know, like, there's no one else ordering dessert. She didn't even eat her fucking meal. She didn't even eat her meal. She gets the ice cream and she can't stand. She goes, the worst thing. So
this tastes terrible.
Everyone else tries and said it was the best pistachio ice cream.
Well, I had a bite and I was like, wow, that's actually a top 5 best ice cream I've ever had in my life.
Well, there you go.
Like I was thinking about it all weekend. I was like, I want to go back and have that ice cream.
That's a little sad.
No, because it was that good. I was shocked because I would not expect them to have a good ice cream there. But yeah, it was good. Yeah,
painful. All right, so what else you have, Bronny Boo?
I was going to say something and then I forgot.
Sorry.
Because you were like, how's California? And I was like, what? That was so random.
Why is it random? I just want to hear about your trip. Our parents are very nice, right? What was I going to say? Yeah. I like her parents.
Shit, what was I going to say? It was about...
And he liked the cigars?
Trump. Yeah. I don't remember. As I'm trying to remember, you're like asking me other questions. I'm trying to remember. Whatever. I can't remember. Oh, no. Whatever.
Okay.
So last Patreon episode, we talked about how like Trump in Colorado, there was that whole...
Yeah, in Maine.
The Maine one now.
Yeah.
That happened.
Look, they're going to jump on the bandwagon. There's going to be other states that are going to do it. And
one person in Maine decided it was like the head of their election board or whatever.
Stupid.
And she's like been super pro Biden. People have like been finding all these things about her. So it's like, come on. One thing that I think, okay, more than one thing, but what I think is fucking great is that 99% of the people, if they were in Trump's shoes, would back down. 99.9%. He's standing firm. He's not. I don't know if I agree with that, but
he's not intimidated. And I got to tell you.
Well, yeah, because he has nothing to lose.
But well, listen, I think that
he's been that person. He's been everyone's against him for the last 5 years. So it's like, why would he stop now?
But he stands strong. And I got to tell you, I think, like you said, it's just going to backfire. I think it's clearly be overturned on appeal. I mean, it's nonsense.
Even if it's not, like, it doesn't matter. He wasn't going to win Maine or Colorado anyway, so who cares? That's my outlook on it. It doesn't matter.
But it's still...
If anything, it just shows to the people like us in states where Trump could have won, like, oh, shit, I got to vote for him because otherwise they would have stopped me. Like, he wasn't going to win Colorado or Maine.
Think like that.
If it happens in Florida or Tennessee, then it's like, oh, shit. Like, now there's the elections at stake.
You know, one thing that people need to understand, whether you're Democrat or Republican, mainly Democrats, is that, you know, you need to be very careful who you fucking, because people rewrite the laws just to work in their fucking favor, which is a terrible, terrible thing. I mean, terrible.
Yeah, but that's how government is. That's
no,
what the
but
government
so quickly, there's certain ways. Listen, there's such bullshit little loopholes that we've never had in all my years of living, that we've had people abuse it, what the intent of the statute or law was for, that they're coming through a back door and they just fucking rubber stamp. It's just bullshit. Just like these fucking prosecutors saying, I'm going after Trump, not because of anything that's saying nothing wrong or right, it's because it's Trump. It's the wrong fucking thing to do, period. It really is.
Yeah, sure.
And the guy, I want the guy to win.
That's what they've been doing for 10 years. Like, that's just what.
It's so blatant. It's such a fucking joke.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone disagrees that it's like,
I know
everyone
I'm just
left and right is on
statement.
board. Like, oh, they're just going after him to go after him.
I'm just making a statement.
Okay.
I'm not saying like that I found the smoking gun. I'm just making a statement.
Okay.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why people are assholes. Do you have a fatherly advice?
Yeah. I can get that up.
Or you wanted to, we're going to say something else before I brought that up.
No.
Sure?
I was going to say there's this new movie coming out called Civil War. Have you seen the trailer for it?
No, what's it about?
It's about like states in the country like break apart.
Interesting.
And I'm sure it's going to be really good. It's by the guy who directed Ex Machina.
Okay.
And
yep. I want to
Annihilation. And it's like different states have formed alliances against the federal government. And then there's like the federal states that have stuck together, and it's like a full on war.
Interesting.
And if that movie came out like 10 years ago,
like never
people
gonna
would
happen.
be like, wow, this is a cool science fiction idea.
Now
it's like
an idea.
It's like, oh, this is our future. Like, you watch and you're like, oh, this is just the future.
Okay, so you know the movie that Michelle Obama, The World Ends or something?
Oh, yeah. They were just like producers on it, I think,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Leave the World Behind or
Yes,
whatever.
okay. You haven't seen it?
No.
Okay.
But I'm not going to. I don't care about that
Okay,
movie.
well, that's your choice. But I'm gonna say something about it.
Because I heard that there was like programming in that movie.
What do you
like
mean?
they were trying to like there was messages in that movie that were purposely put into like try to get things across.
Okay, so
Like
100%. I did not like the movie, but it brought up some interesting things like, wow, that's interesting, right? Because it could really happen. But what's interesting is that Obama's produced, like, are they trying to say something? Like, there's shit that they know we don't know? I mean, this shit, it's sort of fucked up.
So the Obamas,
This is what people are saying, though.
right after the Obamas left office, they started a production company, which is what everyone does now because it's just a way to make money with your name. They're not really, from what I've worked in Hollywood, I've had calls with their company, in fact. Like, I've literally been on pitch meetings with the head of production at their company. I would imagine the only involvement that they actually have is like approving ideas. And I'm pretty educated on what happens with celebrity production companies. I worked for one.
I know, but you don't know it all.
No, of course. But like, it's just a moneymaker to use their name
I get it.
as
but
like a production.
I get it, but on the same token, they were intimately involved in government and still are. They know things that we don't know. And when you watch,
Like Trump produces TV.
okay, but when you watch,
That's what
I know, but he does like, whatever the
Apprentice.
The Apprentice. This was very different, showing about our government and things like this that it makes you say, It just
Like
makes
what? In what way?
It makes to see
in like what?
how the world can come to it, that they could take down the grid, certain things with terrorist attacks, how what can happen to the world, like that. It just makes you raise your brow, so to speak. Like, for example, if Dershowitz was talking about the law, it's different than if someone like Mom was talking about the law, when someone's an expert in it, and it makes you say that's very interesting, and it's a concern. And I think if you were to watch it, you would be like, that's a little scary. Removing what you know, removing the fact of your TV production and your movie stuff, and just as a layperson said, that's a concern. It's a concern.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you think, that the Obamas are trying to warn people, or they're trying to scare people? What?
Or just saying, you know what, let's have fun with it. I don't know the answer to that, but it did make Mom more concerned about planning for shit like that. Some things you watch something and it raises your awareness, and it easily could happen, and it's fucked up.
Like Is that how the world ends in that? Like the grid goes down?
Well,
because that's the easiest one.
Right. The grid goes down, but talking about how
if the power grid goes down,
boom sound, and it just was very.
What does that mean?
Like how they had this large sound, how it affected people's. I don't even know but this is that kind of warfare where you can have. Sort of like what happened in Cuba with the embassy.
Right, but what, it like affected you? Like
well,
as a
it
person?
shows you they had this large sound that people had to cover their ears, and then it shows how certain explosions were happening, and it showed like all the Tesla cars running,
right?
like programming.
Like why were they singling out Tesla?
They was just using an electric car.
Right, but why were they all Teslas? There were other electric cars. Every company has an electric car.
Okay, I think
to me, when I saw that, like I saw that scene, and it was all Teslas, and they were like, they all stopped. Like, to me, that's like an attack on Tesla.
Okay, but listen,
that's like a purposeful.
Right, so
just say electric cars.
So okay, but a couple of things. Number one, Tesla's the largest electric car company. That's what people.
But every single one in that was a Tesla.
I get it, but so number one is that's one aspect. Number two is we know that Elon Musk is the anti-government and over.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's my point. That's the show.
Yeah.
That's why I would think Obama's government.
Right,
They're
that's what I was saying. Programming.
Yeah, they're sending a message. And then, but just conceptually, like if they did a fleet of Lucids, most people might not know Lucid.
No, but just say, oh my God, the electric cars are going down.
But
not the Teslas.
No, what they were showing was it wasn't going down. They were showing that if they can control, and they brought all the electric cars on the highway and
they could
jammed
stop
them,
things, yeah.
So they stopped the flow of going to and from because the roads were closed.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Not about electric cars going down. It was about
but the fact that it was just Teslas is like sus.
But which goes more towards my position of Obama.
I'm not
and
against your position.
I know,
I'm
but
agreeing.
It goes more right. That's what I'm saying. So it was all big concerns in that regard. So it's just something to think about and not be naive. And I think the Obamas listen.
Right, but then wouldn't that be like the Obamas playing their hand? If they're the ones that are in control,
why would they
be saying, "Hey, we're in control.
No,
we can do this to you"?
Or is it narcissistic and people just like to fuck with things and you think you're above it? And
or is it just like this director had a movie idea that had some political ties, so they went to the Obamas company?
I don't know.
Because the Obamas will do political documentaries.
We don't know,
as a
but
company.
we do know that this shit could happen. That's the concern.
Yeah, but it's not just electric car. Like every car's connected to the internet now. So if that idea of like someone could hack in and get them to drive, although I guess Teslas have the self-driving and that's what you'd need to get them all to block a road. But
it was just
I don't
want to spend an hour on the Tesla aspect. It's interesting how this shit could easily happen. This is not like fathom, like 20 years you'd be like, this is science fiction. No, this is really
the grid going down. Yeah, I mean, now more than ever, if the grid went down 25 years ago, it's like, okay, we're out of power, but like we can still figure things out. Now, the world is too dependent on the internet.
Right.
Everything that exists is done on the internet. Our fucking like microwaves and shit are like internet run. So if things went down, no one would have any. If the electricity went off, what would we do? No one would be able to do anything. Nothing. We couldn't cook. Like, I mean, your stove, I guess, is gas powered. But like, if the electricity went off, you're not getting gas pumped to the house. The pumps aren't working, right? Like the gas isn't just free flowing through the pipes. Someone is releasing it into the pipes. That's not going to come. So like, how do you cook? You don't. And there's so many things. And then what do you do if you don't cook? Where do you go? Like, if the electricity went off for good, not even for good, for a month, forget about it. And if people are like, oh, but the government would come in and like fix and facilitate things and help things, it's like, how are they getting to you? How do they know that you don't have your phone? You don't have the radio. You don't have TV. Like, how do you know where the help is? How to get help? You don't.
Well, that should hit.
I guess you would have radio.
You need to get to our house. Remember, you and your buddies need to get to our house. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, but then what do we do here? Just sit?
Don't worry. I got to figure it out. I got us covered.
What, with your guns? Like, that's not...
No, don't worry. No, I'm not...
That's thinking...
No, stop.
But you think the only problem is like zombies?
No, you don't... No, I don't...
You're like, we'll stand on the roof and snipe them all.
I don't need to discuss it on the podcast. I got us covered.
What, our survival plans?
No, I've got us covered.
Okay.
Just make sure you and your brother get your ass here. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. And that's the hard part, getting there because of the highways and the roads.
Yeah, but why is this a safe place?
Because it will take 8 hours to get out of Florida. We're not getting out of Florida. We know that.
No, you don't want to go deeper into the country. If anything, you want to like fly to a Bahamian
flying.
island.
You're not flying. That's my point.
Then we need to steal a boat and go to an island.
Okay.
And then just live on an island.
So
like in the Bahamas.
I'm just saying.
Because then no one can bother us.
Okay, but right now.
Here, look at all the houses around us that can bother us.
Okay, I understand it, but I think that we're safer together in our home, which is all concrete block and impact glass. I think that we'll be safer than trying to drive and get out of the state 7-8 hours to get out of Florida.
You don't want to drive up north. You don't want to drive deeper into the country. It's not a problem of being safe. Sure, yeah, this is a fortress cinder block. But you're going to have to go get food. After 3 days.
Okay. Got that covered.
Right? But
no, I've got that covered.
Barely.
No.
You've got it covered for like a little bit.
I got it covered for almost
for 10 years with 10 people? Because you keep inviting people over to the house.
I'm not inviting anybody over, number one. But don't worry about it. I got it covered. I'm not going to discuss it on the podcast.
What, that you have food? That's not why you don't need to give away.
Who says
that.
I have food? I'm just saying I've got our plan covered.
Okay.
My plan is good for us.
The problem with we're like a quasi end of the world scenario isn't. I mean, part of the problem is like safety and a place to live. The bigger problem is other people.
Yes.
That's the worry. Other people.
It's a big problem.
So you just need to like the key to surviving an end of the world is like be as far away from people as possible.
I get it. It's very hard when you live in a metropolitan area.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. You want to go to like St. Martin and just like be in the Virgin Islands.
And how do you get there?
Boat. We're so close to Bahama. We're literally 40 miles from the closest Bahamian island. So you just go there and there are like 10 homes on the whole island. And then that's your community. And you just, instead of you're like, we protect our home with guns, you fucking protect your island and you're good. You grow on the island. We can't grow food here. Right. So this isn't fully self-sustaining. I don't think an island self-sustaining.
I don't think you're leaving the first week that the grid goes down, you're leaving to go to Bahamas and make your life
No,
in
but
Bahamas.
The key to an end of the world scenario is you got to have your end game quick, because otherwise all the good shit's taken. You know, you need to get like, let's say we're like, oh, we'll wait out a year here. And then in a year, we're like, shit, we need like land that we can farm. Where the fuck are we getting that?
Okay. We'll figure it out. You can't, by the way, it's hard to figure out every scenario. You just got to do the best you can.
Sure. But I'm giving you options and you're like, nope, I already have it figured out.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That by no means is that's not what I'm saying. But the main thing is you and your brother have to get to our house. That's the first and foremost thing.
Yeah.
Because if everything goes down,
we're actually in a great place because we're close to the world. We have islands that are close to us.
Burke's the issue. Getting him here.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's just impossible. If the world, like, you have to preempt it. You have to see, like remember when COVID happened and it was like a few weeks before COVID was happening and we were like seeing videos out of China and we were like, whoa, this is crazy. And then the NBA like shut down. And we were like, wow, I can't believe the NBA is shutting down. And then everything shut down. You have to know when you're seeing those videos.
But it might not happen. You might not know.
I know, but that's the gamble.
I'd have to get Burke on a private plane to get over here.
No, but if like, let's say the COVID scenario and we're seeing all those videos from China, it's like the whole world was still normal. So you could easily just fly here, and then that's when you start, okay, I see shit's about to hit the fan.
But you don't know.
I know, but you can always prepare for that. And then if it doesn't happen, you go, oh, okay, no problem. Let's go back to normal life.
Right. But in the meantime, you two guys have to make sure you get up to our house.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do we have time or not?
No.
All right. So let's say, everybody, Happy New Year. Ronnie, good to have you back. Good to do a pod, right? It's been a while.
Yep.
I love you. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for listening, and good 2024.
Yeah.
You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.